Before we begin the journey of Marian Consecration, or preparation for Marian Consecration tomorrow, I thought it would be wise to give you a little background, a little intro on what is it, why am I doing it, what's the intention in a little bit more depth. I'm going to be really straight with you about how I live my life. A lot of the time I don't really know what I'm doing. A lot of the time there isn't a thought or a why. I mean, there may be ones that pop up as to try and create meaning from what's being offered, or the guidance that I receive, or the calling or the pull, the heart opening towards something that I experience. But a lot of the time I don't know what I'm doing, I'm just doing it. It's a process that I've gone through to live in total surrender to my guidance from within, to the guidance of my heart, to the guidance of my intuition, to the guidance of what I feel is driven by God, that universal intelligence that has birthed all of us and lives within all of us, which is our eternal essence, the part of us that when this body dies, doesn't die with us. So I approach this Marian consecration from that lens of that place that I'm surrendered to. And when a friend mentioned to me that he had done it, speaking to me like I knew what it was, but I didn't know what it was. I just knew I had to do it. I knew it was a process that I was going to have to do. Not going to have to do, but just was going to do. It was like, oh, I'm going to do that. Okay. And the two of us went to the cathedral in Bali together. Had this really beautiful experience together. And there was a picture on the wall of the Annunciation. And over the course of the Mass, the image changed for me. I saw the image differently. And where I'd once seen the angel Gabriel above Mary and Mary on her knees, I saw it the other way around. I realized that Mary, as the embodiment of the Divine Mother, was being knelt to by the angel. And that really, really moved me. And my friend, the one who gave me this book, 33 Days to Morning Glory by Mayi, said that one of the feast days that you can do the Marian preparation for is the Annunciation, and suggested that I do that. So here I am doing it. I haven't read through the book. I don't know what the process is. I see that as part of the journey of not knowing, and going into it with a total open mind and open heart. From reading the introduction, I know it's going to be triggering for me, because some of the language that is used in this book, from, how do I put this diplomatically, but from a kind of the side of Catholicism that I don't like, the language that I use that feels triggering to me, that was what had me originally turn away from my Catholic roots, that kind of dogma, shame, the side of religion that I find limiting some of the languages in this book. And so I see that as an invitation to create more equilibrium within me, to create new meaning for some of the words and the languages, to create more freedom for myself within this process. My personal current lens is of trying to be more human. And I see myself in being fully human. I'm in my true nature, and then I'm fully at one with God. I don't think I'm supposed to be anything else other than a human being, living as a human being was born to live, and connecting to my unique expression of humanity, which I feel then fits into the wider scope of humanity in harmony, as means of service. So my path has been one of being brought up in a very Catholic household. I was raped when I was 16 and felt like that made me impure, and felt like I couldn't turn to my family about it because of this idea that sex was to be saved for marriage. And so I turned away from religion, from faith, for a long time. I had a quiet belief in a higher power or something greater than me, but I didn't really want to give it my attention. And my life turned into something that wasn't really serving me. I see myself as always having been seeking God within, seeking something greater, but through means that were self-destructive, through intensity, through just wanting to feel that depth of connection. However fleeting those moments would have lasted from the means that I used, right? And until it all became too much and I became suicidal and I left my life, I kind of knew that what I was doing wasn't working, and I knew that the only way I could find what was going to work was to let go of all the external noise and turn within. So I turned towards myself, and that journey has been one of a very spiritual journey, which I now feel has led me to a very human journey. And in that human journey, I've gone through lots of different, I've explored lots of different religions and traditions and practices in this 6-year journey that I've been on. And I mean, I would say I've explored most religions and practices to varying degrees. I've spent a lot of time on the Buddhist path, a lot of time within the Vedic teachings, and I now have a guru who is an incarnation of the Divine Mother. And I have taken this name, Mayi, which means the embodiment of the Divine Goddess, which I see as my new life path to embody the Divine Goddess, which I see as the Divine Mother. My original birth name that I was given has Marian. I've always really connected to Mary, and since taking my guru, I've had a big journey reconnecting to my Christian origins, funnily enough, through through the sort of more Hindu teachings. I have then understood what the essence of Christianity is through experience. So I think there's very different life paths to learning with the mind, learning with the intellectual sheet and the understanding, to actually that gnosis, that knowing. Makes me feel like glowing, but that kind of, well, it is a glow really, when you have that experience from within and you're like, I get it now. And you can try and explain it with words, but it's maybe a phrase you've been saying it over and over again, oh, I feel it in my being, I get it. So from my experiences through meditation and my time in silence and my time exploring, I then came back to Christianity with a new lens, not as calling myself a Christian, but as seeing Christianity as something, it's evolved into something that I don't feel Christ or Mary ever lived to, that wasn't their wish for it to be as it is now. They came, like Buddha, to share teachings, to share a way of being, to share a path to freedom, inner freedom. And from this lens, I now approach this book. This book, which is born of people who might call themselves Catholics. Whereas I would say I was raised Catholic. I don't attach myself to the identity, and I attempt to not attach myself to any identity, but to explore a woman who was of such depth of connection to her inner God that she was able to conceive purely of God and hold space for God to be birthed and held in his life journey. And the beauty of doing this process and ending on the Annunciation is that I see this as an opportunity for myself and for anyone who would like to join me. Hopefully you would like to join me, or at least like to observe and gain, I don't know, reflect upon whether you resonate or not with what I'm saying, and use it as a reflection to guide you to your own inner divinity. But I would love to be a vessel for things of God to be birthed through me into this world. That's all I really want to do with the rest of my life. I surrender to by whatever means that is, which sometimes is, I tell you, really freaking difficult. But what is, I don't want to use the words wanting, but what wants to be birthed through me? What is that? What is that? What can be birthed through me? So by connecting, consecrating my heart to that which Mary embodied, pure love. Like, you see that image of the Michelangelo statue that's in the Vatican, and I could just look at it forever, of just Mary holding Jesus in her arms. Like what greater love is there than that? To like hold your dying, your child who is persecuted for the love, like out of love for the world, to send a message to the world, a message of forgiveness, a message that we can be born again by forgiving, by retaining that purity of love. And yeah, I just want to serve from the path of love. And I feel that there's something in here for me to do that. And if you're watching, I feel like there's probably definitely something in here for you to do that. There doesn't have to be one person that's like, no one is serving in a greater way or a lesser way. That we're all called to serve in our own unique ways. And by connecting to the purity of love in our hearts, creating that inner connection, we can hear how it is that we are being invited uniquely to serve and how that all fits in together. So, yeah. I hope that this has given some clarity on the journey that we're about to embark on. A little bit of information towards where I'm at with my journey and my intention. And yeah, I hope that it's inspired you to want to take more steps towards love and yeah, be guided by your own inner Immaculate Mother, so that we can all do our best to serve the world and spread more love.